Now remember, they don't want violence. They love everybody. Former advisor to the president, indicted, soon-to-be felon, Steve Bannon.
That's the second term. Second term kicks off with firing Ray, firing Fauci. Now, I actually want to go a step farther, but I realize the president is a kind-hearted man and a good man. I'd actually like to go back to the old times of Tudor England. I'd put the heads on pikes, right? I'd put them at the two corners of the White House as a warning to federal bureaucrats. You either get with the program or you're gone. Time to stop playing games. Blow it all out. Put Rick Grinnell today as the interim head of the FBI. That'll light them up, right?
You know what, Steve? Just yesterday, there was the anniversary of the hanging of two Tories in Philadelphia. These were Quaker businessmen who had cohabitated.
They don't want violence.
With the British while they were occupying Philadelphia.
They love everybody.
These people were hung. This is what we used to do to traitors.
That's how you won the revolution. Nobody.
And that's exactly what Sparkles and I were talking about the other night. I'm sad that we're not going to get to do it to Trump. Because he is absolutely a traitor to this country. When his own defense secretary is saying he's a threat to the Constitution, something is fucking wrong.
What he wants to talk about, revolution wasn't some sort of garden party, right? It was not. It was a civil war. It was a civil war. Remember also in the revolution.
Oh, we're going to cut off there. So America's Voice. I don't even know what the fuck that is. I've never heard of. These outlets just keep getting more and more fringe. Apparently all the conservatives hate Fox News now. So I really wonder what's going to happen to Fox when all your viewers leave. And Bannon isn't the only one. Lindsey Graham donating $500,000, $500,000 fucking dollars to Trump's legal fund. What an absolute tool. South Carolina, you missed out on an excellent senator in Jamie Harrison. I'll tell you who else missed out on an excellent senator. Why am I fucking that word up tonight? Alabama is missing out on an excellent senator by the name of Doug Jones. Instead, the state of Alabama has stupid-ass Tommy Tuberville, who tweeted out, "The election results are out of control. It's like the whistle has been blown, the game is over, and the players have gone home, but the referees are suddenly adding touchdowns to the other team's side of the scoreboard." Jake Tapper rightfully calls him out. I don't want to go into all the stupid-ass football analogies. Multiple people point out that the analogy was inaccurate. He got drugged all over Twitter. Now, this young lady right here said you're supposed to end that tweet with a "Roll Tide," because he was talking about how Auburn lost to Alabama. He still thinks his coaching resume is why he won. Kind of is. Or the fact that there's an R out from his name. This is a crazy-ass statement made by a man who doesn't understand governing any more than he understood how to coach football. Because his players talked about how horrible he was. When you elect a football coach to serve a constitutional republic in which consent of the governed is essential, you get the most relentlessly moronic sports metaphor possible. Seriously, Tommy Tuberville is a stupid-ass name. But hey, stupid-ass name for a stupid-ass person. And seriously, all these claims of fraud, they can be proven wrong. I actually, one of my right-wing friends sent me a list of all the ways the election has thrown up red flags. I looked through the list, and several of them I could debunk, like just off the top of my head. I told him, hey, if you'll watch the show tonight, I'll go one by one through the list, tell you why they're all stupid. The last one on the list was about the wagon of ballots being taken in Detroit, I think it was. That wasn't a wagon of ballots. It was a cameraman for the local news station. That was his camera in the wagon. But hey, you know what I always say? Right-wingers are morons. Or I just break down and call them morons because they live in a fantasy world and they won't accept reality. Because hey, smart people cog dis is the worst. When you're a smart person, you can make up some stupid ass reasons to believe stupid shit. And it's hard to talk them out of it. We are still waiting on Joe Biden to take the stage. Possibly a victory speech. None of the states have been called since we've been on the air. I thought Pennsylvania was supposed to call it today. Oh, you guys aren't looking at the map. I thought Pennsylvania was supposed to call the race today. Now, all the ballots that are left, 22,000 is the margin there, with 98% counted. The rest of the ballots remain to be counted are in Philly, which means it's going to lean heavily towards Biden. He's won. Multiple people keep asking me, like, hey, is it over yet? And I'm like, it's been over. I've been saying it for 2 weeks now. Biden won this election. It was blatantly obvious. Now, another right-winger who is having a hell of a time is Donald Trump Jr. And remember, these are peaceful people. They don't want violence. They love everybody. But Donald Trump Jr. says the best thing for America's future is for @real Donald Trump to go to total war over this election, to expose all the fraud, cheating, dead, no longer in state voters. Now, what they always talk about with dead voters is like registration still active. That doesn't mean that they voted. Just because their registration is still active doesn't mean that they voted. In order for your vote to be counted, there's a process. Believe me, I've covered elections for years now. There are committees comprised, bipartisan, both parties, that oversee every step of the process. That is why election fraud is almost impossible to commit in this country. Voter fraud is minuscule, and usually when voter fraud is committed, it's something innocent, like somebody voting in the wrong location. Now, I can give you examples of voter fraud, like in North Carolina, where an entire race had to be thrown out because Republicans were pulling some fishy shit. Donald Trump has definitely raped some people, that's for sure. More than likely a fucking 13-year-old. Disgusting. I can't believe people support him. But no. He's ordained by God, remember? That's what old Clay Higgins said in his little Blair Witch video. People dunking on Donald Trump Jr. It did sway voters, and Twitter needs to stay out of censoring government officials. How about government officials Stop fucking lying. So Twitter doesn't have to censor you. God damn. Nobody is against finding potential fraud. You just gotta have some fucking evidence of fraud. But these kind of meltdowns are what end up with workers at the polls in Michigan being asked to shove Sharpies up their ass. This is the Attorney General of the state of Michigan. Dear members of the public, please stop making harassing and threatening calls to my staff. They are kind, hardworking public servants just doing their job. Asking them to shove Sharpies in uncomfortable places is never appropriate and is a sad commentary on the state of our nation. Absolutely true. But these people have been fed bullshit. They think they're patriots. They think they're doing the right thing. Delusional fucking pricks like Clay Higgins egging this on. We've also got evidence of a GOP firm urging people to protest in Pennsylvania. Only fraud in the states he's losing, you're right. Or the states that he did lose, like Arizona. Which, amazingly enough, I don't know who USA Today is using, but the AP has not called Arizona, apparently. But Fox News called Arizona. They called it on election night. They said there's no path forward for Donald Trump to win in Arizona. So I don't know what the AP is waiting on with that. But USA Today called it. But these texts appear to link a Republican firm, and they urged Trump supporters to protest in Philadelphia outside of a building where ballots were being counted. The messages were sent from phone numbers that had been leased by OPN Sesame? It said, alert, radical liberals and Dems are trying to steal this election from Trump. We need you. I heard another right-winger talk about busing people in to Michigan and into Pennsylvania. This is what they accused the BLM movement of doing, of being astroturfed. It is always projection from right-wingers. And of course, when you keep fanning the flames and you send out texts like that, it's no wonder that a bunch of QAnon idiots show up and try to commit some violence.
Quick draw? You pick up to 10 numbers.
Ah, God damn it. So, a plot has been foiled. Apparently, they're still investigating.
In a Hummer, and officials think that by doing so, they may have foiled an attack against the vote counting facility in the convention center. Live in the 200 block of North 13th Street is Action News reporter Chad Perdelli. And Chad, what is the latest on this?
Jim, a few moments ago, Philadelphia police towed away that Hummer. Last night, police
covered in QAnon stickers.
They found an AR assault rifle and 160 rounds of ammunition. What's still under investigation is exactly what was the intent of the two men arrested. 61-year-old Antonio LaMotta and 42-year-old Joshua Macias are charged with firearms violations. Action News was there as LaMotta was handcuffed and arrested, and as the police K-9 unit scoured their SUV looking for explosives and other contraband. Around 10:30 last night, police found the Hummer and LaMotta and Macias about a block from the convention center.
Now, if we could zoom in there, we can't. That symbol is WWG1 WWGA, I think is what it is. Where we go one, we go all. It's the QAnon motto.
Police say each had a handgun on them. A search of the vehicle turned up an AR assault rifle.
The FBI in Norfolk, Virginia received a tip stating that individuals were en route from Virginia Beach to Philadelphia in a silver Hummer truck and were in possession.
I wonder if
of
they got a
weapons and
text.
ammunition.
According to a police source, the tip said that 2 men and a woman from Chesapeake, Virginia were intent on straightening things out during the vote count. The 2 men are facing firearm violations because they didn't have a Pennsylvania permit to carry.
At this time, we do not have indications that the story is bigger than these 2 individuals.
This evening, police towed away the Hummer. It's adorned with stickers of QAnon,
Yep.
a radical group the FBI has dubbed a domestic terror group. District Attorney Larry Krasner says so far they haven't linked the group, which he described as a family, to any extremist organization.
Haven't linked the group to any extremist organization.